We're going to trim a brisket. This is a 14 pound, little less than 14 pound brisket. And we're going to be doing somewhere between 10 and 20 of these. So this is going to be a quick and dirty method of trimming a brisket. So this is not going to be a competition trim, but if you want to do more than this when you get home with yours, you certainly can. But we're going to do it. This is a minimalist trim on a brisket. For starters, we're going to look for dog ears, okay? Something like this here, a little piece of flesh hanging off. It's not going to be good for much of anything. Got one over here, kind of hanging off the edge. I'm just going to cut that off. And start trimming a little bit here. So that's the dog ears. There's a bad one here at this corner. We'll take care of it. We've got a little silver skin on here. We want to get rid of the silver skin. Get down to it. I got to take a little fat off here. So we want to get underneath the silver skin if we can. Get rid of that. There's some down here. So we're not going to be trimming much of the fat off of the flat. We're going to leave that on there unless it's really thick, like over here. We'll trim some of it off as we get working on the point. The first thing we want to do though is find out which way the grain is running. I'm going to flip it over. So when we carve it, we want to carve it against the grain. So we got to know, but we're going to carve it with the fat side up. So we need to be able to look at it fat side up and see which way the grain is going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut what I call a key. A key is this corner here. I'm going to cut it off perpendicular to the grain. And we got this, the beginner butcher who was in training and made a gouge here at this corner. Normally I would not do anything here, but we will take that off as if it were a dog ear. That's about all we're going to do to the flat. So we're going to move on to the point. And what we have here on the point is some brown fat we don't want, a little bit more of a dog ear there, and this hard white fat is not going to render very well. So we want to take some of this white fat off. We're going to render that and turn it into beef tallow. So start taking this brown fat off. So I got my key here. Normally we trim this if it was really thin, but this is an excellent brisket. It's very thick at this corner, which is very unusual. Most YouTubers will trim that corner off because it's real thin, and so, and we know it's going to burn and dry out. But this brisket is in pretty good shape as far as thickness. I really like it. So now I'm going to start working on the fat cap here. I'm going to take it down as a little bit. I'm going to leave that alone. The last thing that I like to do is I want to carve a crosshatch in the brisket on both sides. This is for the seasoning, to give the seasoning more penetration into the meat, and also once this goes on the smoker, it's going to, these crosshatches are going to start opening up, and that will let the smoke get in deeper as well. So it's for seasoning and for smoke. I just want these crosshatch score marks about 1.5 inches apart. We're going to do it on both sides. Just very lightly. Don't want to cut it very deep. And those will open up and let seasoning in and smoke. And this brisket is now ready to season. Once you do 10 or 20 of them, you'll be a pro. Now there are two kinds of seasonings. There's salt and everything else. Now I'm going to start with my favorite add is Lowry seasoned salt. Start high, sprinkle it all over. I'm going to do the edges. I start with the Lowry's because it's a finer mixture of spice, and so I want it to go in the pores first, and then I'll start adding salt. This is kosher salt, coarse granular, and this is a big piece of meat, so we're gonna go heavy with salt. Now we want to let this sit for a while. We don't want to flip it over too soon and season the other side until this has time to set. And talking about people talk about putting a binder on a brisket or any other kind of meat. You don't need a binder. The meat has enough moisture in the muscle to make the seasoning bind to it if you just wait a few minutes. Give it 10 or 15 minutes to set, and then you can this seasoning will stay forever. I'll see you in a little while. All right, it's been 15 minutes. I'm going to flip this over and do the other side. Again, we're going to start with the Lowry's up high. Don't be shy. Now this brisket is going to sit in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. And then we'll kick the tires and light the fires.